The social problem I chose to do for my final project on is racial inequalities because it's such a large problem in America. The first slide, 24% of African Americans are living in poverty compared to the 8% of whites. This is due to institutional discrimination, which is defined as practicing discriminatory policies against an entire group of individuals. Redlining is a practice used by banks and insurance companies refusing to offer mortgages or property insurance to individuals in certain geographic locations, which is mostly based on racial composition. This segregates communities and limits African American families' abilities to buy homes. Discriminatory lending practices are where African Americans are faced with higher interest rates, less favorable loan terms, and straight up denial of loans compared to whites with similar financial profiles. This continues to affect African Americans' ability to own homes. As neighborhoods undergo gentrification, property values and the rent prices increase significantly, which prices out long-term minority residents. While gentrification can increase access to amenities and services, those benefits are not equally shared. Residents will find themselves being excluded from new and improved businesses, resources, and schools. The second slide. A black driver is 31% more likely to be pulled over than a white driver, which highlights an issue of racial bias and systemic inequality in law enforcement practices. This points to deeply ingrained prejudices that affect the black community and contributes to racial profiling and ongoing mistrust between African Americans and law enforcement. As of October 2024, 207 African Americans have been killed by police since 2017. There's a reason why the saying, "driving while black," has become an infamous line. The third slide. African Americans have a 74% recidivism rate while only making up 40% of total prisoners. But at the same time, white Americans are more likely to commit violent offenses. African Americans are arrested 5 times more than whites, and factors include systemic racism, concentrated poverty, and heavier policing in communities minorities live in. The fourth slide. In 2016, the median income for whites was $65,041. The median income for African Americans was $39,490. The labor market exhibits bias, with African American workers facing discrimination in hiring, promotions, and wages. One study looked at the impact of racially identifiable names on job applications and whether or not they received a callback for an interview. They used white-sounding names like Rebecca or Greg and black-sounding names like Lakshita or Jamal. The resumes with the white-sounding names received a 50% higher callback rate. The fifth slide. African American mothers are 3 times more likely to die during childbirth than white women. African American babies are also twice as likely to die after childbirth. This highlights severe racial disparity in maternal health outcomes. This can be attributed to systemic racism in healthcare, biases among healthcare providers, and socioeconomic barriers that limit access to quality pre- and postnatal care. And the sixth slide. Majority white schools receive $23 billion more in funding than majority minority schools. African American students are 3.5 times more likely to attend a school that is underfunded. This has been happening even before Ruby Bridges was allowed to attend a white school. This creates a cycle where schools in wealthier areas have better facilities, more resources, and more opportunities for students. A quality education should be available for everyone, no matter where they live. And in conclusion, social change can play a huge role in resolving racial inequality by addressing systemic and institutional racism. Education reform to ensure equal funding for schools in minority communities can provide better opportunities and resources. Implementing policies that promote economic equality like fair wages, affordable housing, and access to quality healthcare can help reduce the income gap and improve living standards for minority communities. Addressing law enforcement practices and ensuring fair treatment of minorities would reduce the negative impact on those communities. Lastly, promoting cultural and racial awareness in education can start to break down stereotypes so we can be a more inclusive society. Thank you.